Okay, so let's start by getting access to SketchUp. So for that, we are going to sketchup.com. And you see we land on this website of Trimble, which is the vendor of SketchUp, and then, well, accept all cookies. And you can check out this site. So you can check out what SketchUp can do, what it is used for, in which areas SketchUp is helpful, like architectural plans here, for example. But we want to have access to the free version right now. So you can go here to plans and pricing and go to personal use. And you see here you have SketchUp for different uses, for personal, professional, higher education, and so on. And what's interesting for us is this web-based free version here of SketchUp. So you see there are other versions for personal use as well, the shop version and the pro version, but they come with a price. But this version of SketchUp here is free. And we continue by signing up to the program. And you see it takes you to this side here where you can either sign up with Trimble if you already have an account, or you create a new Trimble ID. So if you don't have one, click here, go through the process of creating a new account with Trimble, and then it takes you to the home screen of SketchUp and we continue from there. Okay, so here we are. This is our home screen. This is what you see when you start with SketchUp. Probably my home screen is a little bit more cluttered than yours because I already have recent files. All my recent files are shown here. And all my other files are shown here in this folder on the left side, Trimble Connect. Then you see where your 10 GB of cloud storage is. This is where you can store all your files and you can create folders and you can import models here. But let's go back to the home screen, and what we can do now here is we can create a new template. So we could, for example, go here to this drop-down menu and choose the scale that we want to draw in, or we open something from our device. And this is what we are going to do, because I hope you downloaded the file from the materials. We are going to open the file now, and we open this file SketchUp in 30 minutes. And now you see our file is imported. This is what we're going to work with. And what I'm always doing first is I'm going to the full screen mode so I don't have any distractions. So I'm clicking here because I have the symbol in Firefox here, or you press F11 and then you're going to the full screen mode. And then also if you want to draw in another language, you can go to this little globe here on the bottom and then you can choose a language that you want to be in. And the first thing that we are going to do, we are saving the file because it says here you are viewing a temporary file because we haven't saved it yet. So let's save it in the cloud storage. Let's go into this folder here and I'm going to this folder and I'm giving a name and I'm saving it. And also one more thing for this course, whatever I'm typing on my keyboard, you see here in the left corner. So I'm clicking left and it says left. I'm clicking right, it says right. I'm typing 120 and you see the numbers down here in case I'm too quick with my keyboard commands. Now, before we start modeling, let's have a quick look at the user interface. So first of all, on the top here, we have the file name, we have undo, redo. We have a function for saving, but then SketchUp also saves every 5 minutes because we have this autosave function. And we have our menu here, so you can always go back to the home screen. You can create new files, open files, save, import, export, download, whatever. You also have app settings here. So you could change the autosave interval. Now we have 5 minutes. We can change the language and we can change the template. So we are drawing in millimeters, but we could change this by clicking here. But let's go back again. On the left side, you see that we have a toolbox, and behind every tool with this little arrow, there are more tools. So that means like here, we have 4 tools which make some kind of arc. Here we have some more tools for the rectangle function and for the round shapes and so on. So those are the most important tools. There are more tools, but in this course, those tools will be enough. Then on the right side here, we have those panels and we can change, for example, the appearance of our model. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the style because I don't like this gray background so much. I rather have the shaded with texture style here. So you find this with the default styles. I like this style better. It's much cleaner. So I'm staying in this style. And then also down here, you know this maybe from other programs, you see what a tool can do. You always have a little description here on the bottom. And then on the right side, you see the measurements. So for example, if I'm creating a line now, you see the length of the line here in this bottom corner. And one of the most important things that we should start with is the navigation. So first of all, I hope you have a mouse. In case you don't have a mouse, you can use your trackpad of your laptop, for example. And to make the navigation easier, down here you have this mouse symbol and you can choose between mouse or trackpad. In case you're using the trackpad, just switch. In case you have the mouse, just leave it as it is. And then you probably have figured out by now, if you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can always zoom to where the mouse is. So if I wanted to go to this guy with the cool dinosaur t-shirt, I use the mouse to zoom in and to zoom out. Now, if we click the mouse wheel, you see that we get this rotate tool, which lets us orbit around a certain center and just change our position. And there's one more navigation tool. If we hold down the Shift key and press the mouse wheel, we get this white hand here. So this is the pan tool, and now a pan tool lets you basically move into one direction. So now I could go along the red axis, for example. And those are the three important tools for navigation in SketchUp. So I hope you have your left hand always on the left side of your keyboard, so you can have your pinky finger on the Shift button so that you can zoom in with the mouse wheel. You can click your mouse wheel and you hold down the Shift key, you press the mouse button, and you get the hand for panning, the pan tool. And those are the three navigation functions. And I encourage you just to try it out, how the navigation works, and to get a little comfortable with it. So try to move here to this piece, to this side piece of our object here, and use the pan tool just to move along the side of it, or use the mouse wheel to rotate to another perspective and back to the start again, so that you're getting comfortable with the navigation. Okay, but now let's start building. Alright, so we are building the piece somewhere here in front of the original, so we can see the measurements and our original piece. And we start by building one of those sides here. So a side is basically just a rectangle on the ground that we pull upwards so that we get a 3D object. And this is what we're going to do. So let's start with a rectangle. You find the rectangle tool here in the middle of the toolbox. And then we just click here on the ground and open up a rectangle. Don't hold the mouse key, just click once to open up the rectangle. And now, of course, we need to enter measurements. And we need the material thickness, which is 20. So enter 20 and then comma 300. So you separate two dimensions with a comma. 20 is the material thickness, 300 is the width of this side. So hit the enter key and you see there's our first rectangle on the ground, and it's a two-dimensional shape. But what we need now is we need to pull it upwards. So go to the left side here, you find the push and pull tool. And this is really what makes SketchUp special, because now immediately we can go to this rectangle here. We can click once, don't hold the mouse key. We pull this thing upwards. So in other programs, this is harder, but in SketchUp, we are directly in 3D and we can pull our objects out of the ground. And how far do we go? Well, it says here 450 millimeters. So enter 450, hit enter, and there we are. And now to get back to the select tool, you can either go here to this mouse or you can just hit the space key. So you have a hand on the keyboard and you hit the space key and there you are back in the select tool. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to triple click on our side so that the whole side is selected. Every piece here, every edge and face is selected. And then we right click on it to make it a component. Because this is the component side, you can give it the name side or any other name that you like. And this now is kind of a closed object. So if we wanted to change something on the side, we needed to go into the editing mode by double clicking on it, but we don't want to change anything now. It's fine. We just want to have another side. So let's select the side by clicking on it and then get the move tool. This cross here on the left side, this is the move tool. And then let's just move to one endpoint here and click on it. And now you see we can move the side, but that doesn't help us very much. We need a duplicate of the side. We need a second side. So hit Control once. And then you see your original piece stays where it is, but you can now move a duplicate of this thing. And you could move it in any direction that you like. You can go along parallel to the green axis, for example, but our side should be parallel to the red axis. So try to find this red axis here where SketchUp snaps. And then let's move this piece to the right side. How far do we need to go? Well, in the original it says 400, but that's the total width between the two sides. So we actually need to subtract the material thickness of the side, which is 20. So we go 380 millimeters to the right side. So enter 380, hit enter, and there we are. Now you can leave the move tool by hitting the space key. And here we are back in the select tool. Okay, now we can continue with the dovetail joint. Okay, so for the dovetail connection, first of all, I'm still in the move tool, and to go back to the select tool, I hit the space key. So there I'm back with the mouse. And now we have two components. But the thing is, whatever I'm doing to one component, I'm doing to the other as well. So whatever I'm changing here, it's changing the other component as well. And I can edit this side piece here by double clicking on it. And now I can edit this component here, and at the same time the other component is being edited as well. And let's move here. Now I'm getting the tape measure tool, which you find below the move tool, and actually it looks like tape measure. So it can create guidelines and it can measure distances, but we need a guideline now which goes from this top line here. So go to the top line and click once, and then you see you can open up a guideline. And we need a guideline 20 millimeters from the top, which marks us where the end of the seat piece will be. So this is basically the material thickness of the seat piece. And then we need also another line in the middle. So let's click here once again and go 10 millimeters down. And we need another line from this side, 15 millimeters inwards. And what we need now is a line with an angle. We do not need straight lines, but a line with an angle. And we can use the protractor tool for this. So go to the tape measure once again. And then you see it opens up more tools. And here you find the protractor. So this tool is what we need. And with this tool, we go to this intersection point here in the middle. And we click once. And then you see we can open up a reference line, and we're going upwards with our reference line so that we are parallel to the blue axis. So go upwards and then click once. Now you've established a reference, and then let's open up this angular line to the left side and let's establish an angle of 15 degrees, 1.5 and enter. And we are doing the same here. So let's go to the other intersection point in the middle, click once, go upwards to establish a reference line, and then open up the angle. And you see SketchUp is smart. It remembers that we used 15 degrees for the first line. So it already snaps here in the 15-degree angle. So I can use this. I just click once here at 15 degrees. And here we are. So we have the outline of our dovetail connection of the first piece of it. And now I'm taking the line tool here, so this pencil on the left side, and I'm connecting this intersection point on the edge with this intersection point of the angular line and this point on the top. And then also I'm going from this intersection point to this intersection point. And back again with the space key to the select tool. And now all those guidelines make our drawing a little bit messy, so I want to delete them. And I go here to the display panel. On the right side there are those glasses here. And this is the display panel when you click on it. And you see here, delete all guides. There's a button, let's delete all guides. Just click there and you see all the guides are gone. We can hide this panel once again by going to the close panel arrow here on the top. Now you see I once again hit the space button. I'm back in the select tool because I want to select this line and this line, but I want to select them both at the same time. How can I do this? Well, we can do this with holding down the Shift key. So you see when I hold down Shift, the select tool gets this plus and minus sign on the side of it. So that means I can now add another line to the selection, and now both lines are selected and I can move them. Well, I can move them or I can move duplicates of them. I want to move duplicates. Let's go to the move tool here once again and go to this midpoint here. So this is the point in the middle of the left line, and let's click here. And now you see you can move the originals, but once again, when you press Ctrl once, you see that you can move a duplicate, and this is what we need. And we want to go along the green axis 60 millimeters to the right side. So let's enter 60, enter. Now we can use the multiply function. So hit the multiply key. You see it in the bottom corner where it says distance. It now has this little multiply sign, this star. And now let's multiply this by 4. So type in 4 and then enter. And you see now SketchUp has multiplied this selection and has put it 4 times here to the right side. So this is basically our dovetail connection. It needs some extra lines here. So we create them manually. Let's go to the line tool and let's connect this endpoint with this endpoint and then this endpoint with this and so on. You get the drill. So we are drawing our dovetail connection on the side of this face here. And now, of course, this is just an outline and we need to push away all the material that we don't need. So let's get the push and pull tool, which you find on the left side here. Let's get it. And then let's push all the things away that we do not need. So click here on this face, click once, maybe to see what we're doing better. Let's go a little bit higher. And so we see also the other component. And now you see, of course, I can manipulate this side by using the push and pull tool. And you see what I'm doing to this component here, I'm doing to the other one as well. We want to delete now this space that's not part of our dovetail connection on the pieces here. So we can do this by really pushing it back. And then you see this gray area here. You see that it looks a little bit strange and it says on face. And if you click now, it's gone. So we're doing the same with the other empty areas as well. So click on the face, go backwards until you see on face and until it gets bluish gray, and then click once and it's gone. So click once, push it all the way back, and we're doing this with the other pieces as well. And there's our dovetail connection, not only on one side, but on both sides, since they are components and components are always connected. Okay, so let's start building the seat piece on the top, which of course also has the dovetail connection here. We start just by, well, navigating ourselves so that we see the top of our pieces here. And then we get the rectangle tool and we just open up a rectangle. Well, from this point here, from this point on the corner to the other point on the other side. And this is the base for our seat. And well, what do? Of course, we push it or we pull it with the push and pull tool upwards 20 millimeters. You could either enter 20 or you can just go to a reference point here and click, because those are the 20 millimeters. Now we have created the top piece, but we still haven't created the dovetail connection. So you see when I move this piece away, we just have a blank piece here, but we don't have the connection. And we can simply now transfer what we've built here on the side to this top piece. So for this, we open up a rectangle. So once again, I'm back in the select tool. So I hit the space key so that I can select my pieces now. What I want to do is I want to create a frame by holding down the mouse key and opening up this rectangle here. So a select frame, and then I release it, so that all my pieces, all my new pieces are selected now, and I right click on them And we have intersect faces here. So we intersect with model, and there we go. So you don't see any changes yet, but when I move this piece away, and you should do that too, so get the move tool. When we move this away, you see that we now transferred the outline of our dovetail connection to the side of the top piece, and we're doing the same here. So let's go back to the select tool with space, select the side, and then get the move tool and just move the side out of the way so that we can now work on this piece here. And what we are doing now is we are just getting the push and pull tool and pushing all the sides, all the material that we don't need anymore. We're pushing it all the way inwards. So back to this line there, and we're doing it the same, of course, on the other side. So push the material that we do not need away. And there's our next piece, well, the seat. So I'm going to the select tool and I'm triple clicking on this top piece so that everything is selected now, and then I right click on it and I say make group. And now we've not made a component, but we've made just a group because we just have one top piece here, so we do not need to make a component, but a group will be fine. Okay, let's assemble the pieces back together again. So I'm selecting the side, and then I'm going to the move tool, and I move the side all the way up to where it belongs, to here. And I'm connecting the pieces once again, the other piece of course as well. Back with space to the select tool, and then the move tool to move this side upwards to where it belongs and connect those points. Okay. Okay, we have the sides, we have the top, but we need those base pieces here, and you see they are independent parts. So let's move to one of those sides, and let's go into the editing mode by double clicking on the side. And then we start with the guidelines once again. So get the tape measure here, and let's create a guideline 20 millimeters from the bottom and another one 10 millimeters above the first guideline, and then go to the edge on the left side and create a guideline 7 millimeters inwards, and from this new line another line 6 millimeters inwards. Okay, and now we take the line tool and just connect the intersection points here. Okay, so this is the part that we do not want to have anymore. So we get the push and pull tool and push this part all the way to the back until we hit the reference here in the back, and we click once and it's gone now. What we also do not need anymore are the guidelines. So go to the display panel here, the glasses, and then go to delete all guides, and now it's much cleaner. And once again, I hit the space button to get the select tool, and I click here to go out of the editing mode. Now we create a new outline, also once again with the line tool, and we are just connecting this endpoint with this endpoint with this endpoint. So we are just drawing along here, along the layout, and then we're going downwards 20 millimeters. Go to the left and make sure you're using the red axis here. You're going along the red axis, and you see here that you get another reference point here, so that SketchUp snaps onto this point here. So you can either now enter 20 or you just use the reference point. I'm using the reference point, and I click once, and then I connect the 2 points here, and then I have a new layout. And I'll take once again the select tool with space, and I'm selecting this new layout with a triple click, and I make this a component. A component because we need 2 bases, and I call this the base. And now I take this base and I duplicate it so that I can put it below the other side. So it is marked now with the select tool. I go to the move tool here on the left, and I'll just grab it on this point, for example, and I'm not moving the original, but I'm moving a duplicate. So I press Control once, so the original stays in the same place, and I go over here and I put this layout here. And I go back to the select tool. I'll double click. So I'm in the component editing mode. And from this 2D layout, I'm creating a 3D object now by using the push and pull tool. And I push this all the way to the back. And I'm using this reference point here on the line. So you see we have now two base parts here. And once again, I'm hitting space and then I'm clicking somewhere here in the free area. Okay, you see the base pieces are not yet finished because the original has the opening here. So let's create those openings, and also we get to know a new tool. So first of all, let's navigate ourselves in front of this side here, and we double click on our new component so that we can edit it. We take the tape measure again to create a guide. First of all, one that's 10 millimeters upwards along the blue axis, and then a guide that's 50 millimeters inward from the left side. And we are going and we are creating another one, also 50 millimeters from the first line, and we're doing the same on this side here, so 50, and from this line also 50 millimeters. And now what we need is the arc tool, because we want to create a round arc here, or two round arcs. So this is where you find the arc tool. So below the line tool you find arcs, and what we need here is the 2-point arc, a very simple 2-point arc. So get this tool here on the left side. Now we connect this intersection point with this intersection point, and you see now we can open up an arc, and we go all the way up to the line that we created. So click here, and we're doing the same on the other side. So from this intersection point to this intersection point, and then upwards to the line. And now let's make another line. So get the line tool and let's connect the top points here, the end points of the arcs, the highest point of the arc. Let's connect them with a simple line. And now get the select tool, hit space, and then let's select the part of the arc that we do not need anymore. So this part on the left, this part on the right. Let's select this part here that we can now push away with the push and pull tool. So click on it and then push it all the way to the back until it gets gray, bluish gray, and then click here, and now we've created this opening here. And once again, we do not need the guideline, so go to the glasses here to display, delete all guides. Once again, the select tool with space, click somewhere in the free area, and here we are. All right, you see there's still one piece missing, which is this crossbar here, and which gives us another new shape, a circle. So let's navigate once again here. Let's go into the editing mode of this component. So double click on the side, and then we start again with a guideline. So the tape measure, we start with a guideline from the left that goes right to the middle. Now, since this side here is 300 millimeters in total, I could either enter 150 to get to the middle, or you see here that SketchUp always gives me those blue round points here. So this is the midpoint as a reference, and I could just click here on the midpoint, and then the line is exactly in the middle. And from the bottom, so not from the bottom of the side, but from the bottom of our base here, I'm also starting a line that goes 150 millimeters upwards, and now I have to enter 150. And I have an intersection point here, which will be the center of our circle. So we have a circle tool that you find here where the rectangle is as well. So it's not where the arc is, but here is the circle behind this rectangle tool. So this is the circle in the middle. And now we go to the intersection point here, and you click once, and then you can open up a circle, and it should have a radius of 15 millimeters. So 15, enter, and there's our circle. First of all, we create an opening in the side. That means we use the push and pull tool and push this circle way to the back until it says on face, and I click once, and you see we have an opening in each of the sides. And now I'm not deleting the guidelines. I leave them here because I need them as a center for our crossbar. But I want to go out of this component editing mode because we are creating now a new piece, which is not part of this component here. So I'm going back with space to the select tool. I click here. Now I'm out of the editing mode of the side component and I'm creating a new circle. So let's get the circle tool again. Let's go to the intersection point here. And now let's start the circle once again in the middle and open up the circle. I could enter 15 millimeters, but I could also go here to endpoint inside and just create the circle with the reference points. What I can do now is I push this circle all the way to the other side. So I take the push and pull tool and I click here once. Now I can pull it out, but I can also pull it into the other direction. And I'm going here on the endpoint inside, and there's our crossbar. So now I can also delete the guidelines. So I'm going here, display, delete all guides, and I'm closing this panel and I'm going back to the select tool. But you see our crossbar is not yet a group or component since we have this piece only once in our drawing. Let's triple click on it to select everything and then right click on it to make it a group. And now you see it's one single piece that we could move away, for example. And now there's still one tiny piece missing. When we look at the original, you see that we have a kind of wedge here that spreads the crossbar, so we have a tight connection between the bar and the sides. So we are not building the wedge, we are just painting the layout of the wedge on the side here. So double click on this group here on the crossbar, and then let's just get the line tool and just paint it on there. So I'm really just connecting 2 points here and just giving the appearance of the wedge also on the other side. So I'm connecting this point with this point, this point with this point. And now it looks like we have a wedge in here, but it's just painted on the outside. Okay, back to the select tool, space. Okay, and now this stool is finished. Basically, we have created all the pieces. The only thing missing now is the color on it. Okay, so let's bring some color into this model. So we go to the right side, and on the right side in the middle, there's this cube here. If you click on the cube, you see the material panel. So first of all, you have this little house here, which says that those are all the colors and materials that are in use now in the model already. And those colors mostly are from this guy with the dinosaur t-shirt. They are used here in the model of this person. And what we need now are all the colors. So go here so you can browse all the materials and colors. And now you see we have a lot of categories here with textures and materials, but let's go to the colors here and you select a color that you like. I'm taking this blue color here. I think it was this one, and I'm applying it. You see that I automatically, if I click on the color, I get this paint bucket and I can directly apply a color on the crossbar, on the seat, on the base here. And well, this piece here needs to stay white. The wedge is in another color. So I'm double clicking on the group and then I can give the wedge a white color. I'm going into the selection mode out of the editing mode. All right, and we are finished building this first piece of furniture. So congratulations. I can encourage you to try out SketchUp some more. So you have the tools on the left side, you have those panels with more functions on the right side. So just go ahead and check it out. If you want to know more, check out my other SketchUp course. So I hope you continue to use this program. I hope you put your ideas into SketchUp and then into reality. And thank you for participating in this course.